that have only been adapted to both stage and screen productions. I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura. We're glad you're here.
Hey, Mom.
Hey.
Me too. I barely made it. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. I am exhausted. I've been up since 6. My baby was up most of the night last night, so I'm hoping he sleeps through
Oh,
tonight.
I hope so
My two
too.
little ones are just 6. I'm still sick,
I wish I could be there to help.
so it's not fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had our first week of homeschool co-op this week. So for anyone who's not familiar, I am a homeschool mom, and I decided that this year we would join a co-op, a cooperative. We get together with other homeschool families, and different parents take on teaching different classes just to sort of put kids together and, give them some more socialization with peers their age. Because prior to contrary belief, lots of homeschool kids get tons of socialization. It's just not in the
Oh,
way that you would
yeah.
expect or think. Like for me, I was homeschooled and I was in a lot of community theater and ballet. And my dad was a pastor and he would take me visiting the elderly with him. So I'd go to nursing homes and go visit shut-ins and things like that. So I was always interacting with people. They just weren't necessarily my age. And I was part of
Right.
co-ops as well. So I could get to know kids my age too. So I could talk to literally anybody because I was always interacting with any
Mhm.
demographic you could think of. So I'm trying to do the same for my son. And he is extremely social, a lot more than I was. And so we joined a co-op. And our first day of co-op, he fit right in with all the 6th to 8th grade boys.
Oh,
And every time I saw him, he was just in a group surrounded by all these boys, and it just made me so happy. So it's exciting
yay.
to get to be a part of that once a week.
Does he already have homework there?
Yeah, yeah, and he's been working on it. So we went on Thursday, and on Friday he only had a little bit to do on Friday. I don't assign much stuff on Fridays anyway. So he spent most of Friday working on his homework. It's already done. He's done all his homework for co-op. So I was there, and one of the moms, she's in her bluey t-shirt and shorts, and I was jealous because she looked so comfy, and I would rather be rocking a bluey t-shirt. But I was there in my nice jeans and a blouse, and I was wearing heels, which was such a mistake. I'm not doing that again because I work in the nursery. And this mom, she was like, Victoria, you can dress more casually. And I was like, I can't because I leave. So co-op ends at 1:15, and I have clients at 1:30. So I have to leave straight from our building
Yep.
and be there to meet clients at 1:30 at my office.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I have to leave here and I have to go straight to work. And she was like, oh, right, you work. And she looked at me with just this look of pity. Like, oh, poor
Oh,
you.
you poor
It's like,
thing.
yeah, I work. And she's like, I think there's one more mom who works.
Oh my goodness. Well, at least she didn't make you feel bad about it.
Oh, no, not at all. No, they're all so supportive. All these moms are so great. And I think she's like, you work because you have to. Yes, but also I do love my job. I love being a therapist. I can't imagine not doing it.
Well, I don't know how a lot of people these days function in just a single income household. Everything has gotten so
I know.
expensive.
It's so expensive. And I'm blessed enough that I don't have to work quote unquote full time. A lot of the work I do can sometimes mirror a full time job, but actually being in there with clients, I'm not working anywhere near like full time hours. And I'm so blessed that I don't have to. And I'm also blessed that my husband works a schedule where he's also doing half the homeschooling for me. He and I are just very balanced in how much time we're spending with the kids. So
Yeah.
it's very unique. But no, I don't even know what our lives would look like. I don't think we'd be in our new house if I didn't work. I just don't see how it would be possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's amazing for the families that are able to sacrifice what they do in order to live on a single income
Absolutely.
living. So,
Mm.
anyway, that was fun. Is there
I'm
anything new with you?
glad. There's never anything new with me. I do the same stuff all the time. But I am still
There
working on my
is.
I've been working on my gnomes and I'm having to this is a first for me. I've never had to do this. So it's embroidery, not embroidery, applique. And I'm appliquing on them on by hand. And I've never done that
Oh,
before. But I
you
think it
normally
will
did
look
applique with a machine before?
yes. And so this is the first time by hand. I had to get online and find out how to do a blanket stitch by hand. And so I'm getting quicker at it, but there are just so many layers in the little gnome, and each one's a different color for the different fabrics. And so, yeah, by hand is much easier to do than
Oh,
with a machine.
oh, I'm surprised
Yes,
it's easier. But I don't know anything about quilting.
yeah. So it'll be fun though, but it's definitely more challenging. But I think it's going to look the best hand appliquing it rather than machine.
So when you're doing your sewing or like when you're sitting there hand appliquing your gnomes together, are you listening to anything or watching anything or do you just work in silence?
I'm listening to a book. And so I've started listening to Alexander the Great. It's a
I saw
biography
that
on it.
on your Fable that you started
Yeah,
reading that. So
yes.
I have to say, I love that like literally this year you finally got into audiobooks.
Yes.
And I'm really
Only
hopeful that that
because
means one day you're actually going to start listening to podcasts because ironically, you are not a podcast listener despite having a
no,
podcast.
right? That's thanks to you. But yeah, I got into the audiobooks because of my traveling back and forth to Kansas, just back and forth and back and forth. And I was getting absolutely no reading done. And I thought, wait a minute, I could listen to one book all the way there and then another book back. And that's what I did.
Imagine that. My poor
Yes.
son, he loves listening to Radio Rental. If no one's heard it, it is Rainn Wilson, who was Dwight Schrute on The Office. He's the host of this podcast,
Oh, yeah.
but he plays a character called Terry Carnation. And this guy owns a video rental store like a Blockbuster. But you come in as the listener, as like a patron of his video rental store, and he has a special box of tapes just for you. And he'll put in a couple for every episode for you to quote unquote watch. Of course, the whole thing is just an audio podcast, so you're just listening. But it's all kind of spooky stories. They're scary and they're supposedly all true. And they're just very fun. And Eli and I, my son and I, we love listening to this podcast together. And so anytime he's in the car with me, he hopes that there's a new radio rental episode, but more often than not, there's not a new one that we haven't heard. And so I'll be listening to court proceedings for whatever new trial I'm into at the time and it kills him. He hates it. He'll try to ask
Well,
questions. He'll be like, "Oh, what's this case? Am I familiar with it?" And I'll tell him about it. And then he's like, "This is so boring, Mom."
I only subjected you to Broadway show tunes and Christian music and 80s
Yes.
rock.
Yep. My daughter can sing. She's 2.5, and she can sing quite a bit of Into the Woods because of how much I listened to it in the car when we were rehearsing it. And she'll still run around the house. So people probably don't know that you and I did Into the Woods this summer. Summer? Spring? When was that? When did we
June,
do that?
June, June.
It was June. Okay, it was summer. And so we did that this year. And I was the baker's wife, and you were the witch. So if you're not familiar with the show, I'm sorry, I'm not catching you up to on it right now. But just know that we're like fairy tale characters. And you were the witch mom, and I was the baker's wife. And my daughter will still, if she finds something that looks anything to her like a witch's staff, she will grab it and run around the house and go, "I'm a witch! I'm a witch!" And if you're not careful, she will poke you with it and expect something to happen. Yeah,
She's so
she
smart
was very much impacted by your character. She couldn't have given a crap about mine.
because
Couldn't have cared
you
less.
just looked like mommy when she
It's
saw
just mom,
me. I had
just the
mask
baker's
and
wife.
the hair, and I was hunched, and I had my staff. Yeah, so I looked
Yeah, you made quite the
completely
impression on her.
different.
And
And so
she's a fan. You didn't scare her. She's like, that's what I
I'm
aspire to
sad
be.
because I kept telling her, "It's still Nana. I'm Nana. This is pretend. This is a mask. See my mask." And so she got to come to see the first act of a dress rehearsal and actually a pickup. And I heard her when I came out. That's Nana.
Huh?
With I mean, and I'm completely unrecognizable. She knew because
Yeah,
she had
you
seen me
made quite the
backstage.
impression. She loved you and Rapunzel. I was just mom. Been there, done that. So, what are you drinking? Anything?
I always drink water.
I'm drinking coffee, even though it's 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no. I have enough problems getting to sleep in. Oh, look at your Archimedes.
Yes, I have an Archimedes mug. Archimedes from The
So
Sword and the Stone, not the philosopher. This is an owl.
cute. Love, love, love.
I
I
love
have enough
him.
trouble getting to sleep at night. I don't need caffeine.
And I have no problems falling asleep because I'm always exhausted. So I'm not too worried about
Aw.
this. And I'm also eating my, I have a slice of my beer bread that I made with your recipe. It's my second loaf.
Yum.
Ha!
Dang.
It's
Wow,
so
you
good.
really did like it.
I do, and maybe it's because I'm just proud that it's the only bread that I've ever made, and it's one of the few baked goods that I've never burned. So,
Oh,
as far as baker's wives go, I can't actually bake. But I was
I've
able to
never
make this, and it was very easy.
I've never been the baker either. That was your daddy. Your daddy is definitely the baker, not
Yes,
me.
my
And
husband can
your
bake.
husband,
What's up with that? Yeah,
but
but I
your
can't.
husband cooks everything. Your husband cooks, he
He does.
bakes, he
He's a
does
good
it
cook.
all. Whereas
Uh-huh.
your daddy, he can bake and grill, and
Hmm.
he can fix
Hey,
eggs.
he can make spaghetti, and he can make chicken and rice.
Absolutely. Those things and sandwiches, but he's ready to come home and
Yes.
have a home cooked meal.
Yeah, I cook for the most part, but if I ever was just like, honey, I can't. This is what I was planning on making, and I'm not going to be home in time, whatever. Here's where you can find the recipe. He'll have it done when I get home. And it's so nice. He doesn't need me to walk him through it. He knows cooking terms. But that's a lot thanks to his mother, who made sure he knew, my mother in law made sure he knew how to fend for himself. So, yeah, I've been working on freezer meals. So oh my gosh, I've been so busy. If I'm cooking dinner, I'm like, okay, what are some similar ingredients that I'm already going to have out that I could throw in a bag for another meal and stick in the freezer? And that's been working pretty well for me. Because I used to do freezer meal days where I would spend hours in the kitchen making all these meals specifically for the freezer. And I don't feel like dedicating my time to that. So this is working
Yeah,
much better. And in 3 days, I've made 4 meals for the freezer.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's working much better for me and a lot faster.
Freezer meals are the best. I love them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am trying to
It's nice
start.
to have.
I'm trying to empty my freezer and start
You're
getting
moving
rid of stuff.
soon.
'Cause,
Yeah.
yes, the end of the year, move mode now.
If some of our listeners are listening only, they won't be able to see this, but you and I are inadvertently so tuned into spooky season, we accidentally are doing Halloween colors. Did you notice that?
Mine is
You're in a black
from,
t-shirt. I'm in an orange t-shirt.
and I do have red and yellow. This is my Mystic Pizza shirt.
That's
Mystic Pizza,
right. You have a
sadly, it's
Mystic
not a
Pizza
book.
shirt.
It's not a stage show, but it's a good movie.
And you went somewhere. Isn't there an actual Mystic Pizza
Mystic
restaurant?
Pizza. Yes, in Connecticut, in Mystic, Connecticut. And it's
That's cool.
wonderful. Since we've traveled all over Italy, we've had pizza all over Italy and loved the pizza there. And so when we went to Mystic, I said, okay, we have to go to Mystic Pizza. I have to try this pizza. And we got one, and I
Uh-huh.
thought, okay, is this going to be good? How will it compare to Italy? Of course, I think they're Sicilian, I think from Sicily. And we got the pizza. It's like, okay, it looks good. It was fantastic. It was so good. So I love Mystic Pizza in Mystic, Connecticut. Great little
You've been so
restaurant.
many places. I think for every episode, you've had somewhere cool that you've talked about, that you visited. And I'm over here like, I'm in Kansas.
Hey, when you were little, we took you as far as we could and wherever we could.
I know. Yeah, it's silly because like my husband and I both love traveling and we love taking our kids places. It's just you've had more life to live and you have used it wisely
That's
and have
it.
traveled a lot of places.
Yeah, yeah.
My shirt is a Matilda shirt, Roald Dahl's Matilda from the Columbian Theater. It is my theater shirt because I was in a musical production of Matilda, which is the book that we're
What we're
watching today.
about. That's right.
Do you want to give the
Woohoo!
spoiler
And it
alert?
was, I can. Beware, we will have spoilers. We will spoil everything and anything, and we won't tell you when we're going to spoil it. There will be spoilers. So we just assume everyone's read the book and everyone's seen the movie, everyone's seen the show. You may not have seen it all, but you have the gist of it if you've done one. So yes,
Yeah.
there will be spoilers.
Always. Oh, and please just remember, like, we are not deep divers. We are not doing a whole bunch of research into the history of every single book or production that we're talking about. We're just fans. And we talk like
Yeah.
fans. And this is the conversation about these books and productions that you have always wanted to be a part of. This is the conversation
It's
where you
so
always wanted to give your thoughts.
And it's so funny because just this week, Victoria and I started talking about something, and I went, "This is why we're doing the podcast," because it was something, it was a show or a movie or something. I said, "This is why for as long as I've had Victoria, her entire life, we've always discussed books, movies, theater." And I got that from my dad. My dad would always give me behind the scenes moments. And this is before the internet and before DVDs and all of that. And my dad always had movies. And I grew up on the old classic movies and musicals, but he would always give us backstories of different people and actors and some of his experiences with seeing some of the people when he lived in New York City for 14 years. And some of the stuff that he got to experience. So yeah, it's neat.
Yes, and
So
at some
this
point
is
we're gonna have
my
to talk
whole
more
life.
about that. Yes. And so we are also the friends that you would have while watching a movie where if we're like, let's say we're watching Lord of the Rings, the part, and people, there are some people who are really going to understand what I'm saying here. The part where Aragorn in the Two Towers kicks the helmet, we're the friends who would go, did you know that Viggo Mortensen actually broke his toe when he kicked that helmet? That's us. We're those people.
But he kept going. He kept acting, and it was so real, and so it just fit everything. They kept it in the movie. Yeah.
That's a widely known reference on the internet. That's why I knew there are people who've never seen Lord of the Rings who know that reference. That's why I used it.
I knew. Oh, I knew exactly where you were going when you brought it up.
So I don't have my notes with me. I'm just winging it.
Okay. Do you
But
want me to talk about the?
yes, you read the book more
Okay.
recently than I did. I read it last year.
So yes, I read it again this week, and so Matilda is this precocious little girl. She is so smart. She's reading by age 2. She read every magazine and newspaper in the house of her parents, and then at age 4, she wanted to read books, and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, look at her like she's a little plague, and they have a son, Michael. And, Mr. Wormwood is a used car dealer and sells used cars. Mrs. Wormwood plays bingo 5 days a week, so there you go. But Matilda is brilliant, and she wanted to read books, and they said, "You don't need books. What do you need books for?" So all they wanted her to do was watch the television, or the telly, because this is set in England. Watch the telly. So when her dad goes off to work and her mom goes off to bingo, little Matilda walked herself 10 blocks to the library. And she went in there and she met Mrs. Phelps, Phelps, Mrs. Phelps, the librarian, and developed a friendship with Mrs. Phelps. She read through every children's book, but she would walk there back and forth every day. And so finally, Matilda says, "I've read all of the children's books." Okay, she's 4.5. "I've read all the children's books. Is there anything else I can read?" And Mrs. Phelps knows she's a very special child. Says, "You know, you can get a library card and check out books, and you could take more than one home." And Matilda gets very excited. So now she takes a little wagon. She only has to go 1 day a week to the library. And so she does. So anyway, she has this love of books. She's reading Dickens and Shakespeare and you name it, she's reading it. And so we see that Matilda understands that her dad is a crook and a cheat, and she doesn't like that and feels like he should get in trouble for it. So she decides that if people can get in trouble, can be punished, because that's what her dad said, not children. He used the word people. She thought, well, if people can, I'm going to punish. In the book, the first thing she does, she puts super glue in the dad's hat. So when he puts it on, it sticks to his head and he can't get it off. She gets some peroxide. He's got a hair oil that he puts in his hair every day. She puts it in that oil, and so his hair ends up being yellow, orange, and he just can't figure out how on earth this happened. And then another punishment, she has a neighbor friend who has a parrot that can talk, and she borrows her friend's parrot and stuffs it up the chimney so the parents can't see it. And the parrot says, "Didn't write down what he says."
No. He says, hello, 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 and rattle my bones in a spooky voice.
Rattle my. Okay, yeah.
And she uses
Hello.
it to stage a haunting.
Yes. And so she's in on it. They're eating at the dinner table and they can hear this parrot. They don't know it's a parrot. She knows. She's like, what is that? It sounds like it's coming in here. They're looking everywhere and they just feel like there's a ghost in the house. So that was good. I really enjoyed the parrot. I thought that was very cute. So then there's another lady. They finally allow her to go to school. She's 5.5 years old. And Mrs. Trunchbull is the principal or the head mistress of the school. And the dad sold her a used car. So she's hoping that it's going to be a good car. And she's pretty bad. She gaslights Miss Honey. She's evil to the children. She's brutal and always gaslighting Miss Honey, and I can't stand that. Miss Honey is Matilda's teacher, and she sees the brilliance of Matilda when it comes to the times tables. Matilda can multiply large numbers in her head just like that, like a calculator. And then of course her reading. She just reads all the time. So Miss Honey sees just how smart she is. Well, there comes a day where Miss Trunchbull comes every Thursday to their little class at 2, and she always requires water. And there's this little girl called Lavender. She's
I
adorable.
love lavender.
And so the kids outside had found a newt, and they decided to put this newt into the water jug that Miss Trunchbull would drink from. But she doesn't drink the water with the newt in the book. So that was different. I saw the movie as well this week. They did scare her with this newt. She thought it was a snake. She thought it was an alligator, all this stuff. And of course, she blames everybody else and blames Matilda. Matilda sits there focusing and makes the glass topple. And so it topples over and the newt lands on Miss Trunchbull. But she's
Makes
like,
the
I
water
didn't do it.
topple
I will go.
topple how?
Yeah. Oh, with her mind. With her mind. So telekinetically. Yes. She looked at it. And it's cute because it talks about how Matilda feels, she feels her eyes get really hot and just has all of this power and stuff. And then, boom, it made the glass move. Miss Honey, we find out, her dad was a doctor. Her mom died when she was just 2. And so her dad invited her mother's unmarried sister to live with them and help care for Miss Honey. Well, then her daddy died when she was 5. And so now the aunt is taking care of Miss Honey. And we finally learn that this aunt is Miss Trunchbull. And she has been very mean to Miss Honey as well. Makes her pay for everything, requires her whole income. She's given £10 a month or a week to live on, not much. And she makes do. She found a little place she could rent for really inexpensive, but she has nothing. She has no furniture. She doesn't even have indoor plumbing. She has nothing, just this little cottage. And so at the end of the book, Matilda says to Miss Honey, "What did people call your father?" And his name was Magnus. And what did he call Miss Trunchbull? Well, her name, Agatha. And then she said, "What did they call you?" She said, "Oh, well, Jenny. Her name is Jennifer Honey." And her daddy, her aunt, they call her Jenny. And so Matilda said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of this." And Miss Honey's, "What are you going to do?" So, because Miss Trunchbull took the house, no one ever found a will. It was all assumed that everything would go to the aunt, all of this stuff. So, next day at school, the next time Miss Trunchbull comes to their class, she is on a whirlwind and she is being very mean to kids and everything. Well, a kid says, "Look at the chalk." And the chalk is writing by itself on the chalkboard. And it says, "Agatha, this is," what's his name?
Magnus.
Magnus. "Agatha, this is Magnus. Give Jenny her house back and her pay, or I will do to you what you did to me," or something like that. And it terrifies Miss Trunchbull. And all we know is She never came back to school. She packed up the house. All of a sudden, lo and behold, the will shows up and Miss Honey is supposed to get the house. But then we have Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, and they decide that they are going to leave. They're moving away, and come to find out, Mr. Wormwood's about to be caught because he is a cheat and he sells bad cars. So they're ready to move. Well, of course, Matilda doesn't want to go with them, and Miss Honey says, I'll take care of her. I will take good care of her. And they're like, okay, whatever. So they leave her with Miss Honey. But I do find it a shame in the book, the Wormwoods are never caught. I never have a sense of justice with them, like that they were caught and they're going to get in trouble. But hopefully wherever they move to, they get in trouble. But they are horrible, horrible parents. Horrible. So that's the book in a nutshell.
Yep, and Miss Honey and Matilda live together, and Matilda never uses her telekinetic powers again.
That's right. And in the book, she tried, but she didn't have them anymore. They weren't needed anymore. The time of distress was over. Yeah.
So, yeah, and like you touched on how awful Miss Trunchbull is. I mean, there's so much child abuse in this book, in this story. The Wormwoods are horrible parents in that they are so abusive to Matilda, particularly verbally and emotionally. But Miss Trunchbull is physically abusive, not just verbally abusive. She's verbally abusive, and she takes a little girl and swings her around by the pigtails and flings her over the school wall. She
I totally forgot about
picks up a little boy by his ears to stretch his ears. She forces a little boy to eat an enormous cake all by himself because he stole one slice of it. It's horrible, the abuse that these children go through. Yeah, it's amazing that we can play it off as a children's story.
Roald did not play. He wrote some very serious things in his books. And we can talk about others later.
Is the author, and for anyone who might not quite know, he's the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. He did The Witches, James the Giant Peach,
BFG,
the BFG.
We will have a lot to talk about with Roald because several have been made, film and stage.
Yep. So let's see. What do you think of the book? Do you like it?
I love it. I think he was a genius. The right things happened to the good people. You know, I wish the Wormwoods would have been caught. I wish we learned more about Trunchbull, like if she had been caught, you know. But they're gone. The evil's gone and the good is there and it works out in the end. But I think it's a great book. What about you?
I agree. I don't love the book as much as I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I love Charlie and
But overall, with later productions, like we'll talk about the musical soon, overall, like with later variations and adaptations, I do ultimately love the story more than any of his other works. I have come to fall so much in love with Matilda and her story because of what other people have been able to do with Roald Dahl's original story.
It's just amazing that in the book, Matilda is so tiny.
She's 5. She's so little.
And you don't see her portrayed as a 5-year-old in any other production. Not one.
No, but I do think in the movie she is supposed to be that age.
Yes, but she's still not. And
obviously.
You can tell she's not 5.
Yeah. Even though, I mean, who is it? Mara
Wilson.
Is that her name? Yeah.
Yes, Mara Wilson.
She's amazing. I think she's adorable.
Yes. Yes, she.
Do you have a favorite character in the book?
I love Miss Honey. I think she's precious. I love her. She is so afraid of Miss Trunchbull because she has been abused by her entire life. And so she is very fearful. She's timid, but she went to her. She tries to stand up for the kids. She tries to stand up for Matilda. And she tried, but she is timid, but it worked out in the end. But I love her. I think she's precious.
I thought it was really interesting that the way the book describes her, Miss Honey is very kind and is obviously so. However, it was rare for her to smile. So that anytime she did smile, it was sort of a surprise because it was very rare rare for her to do so. And I thought that was interesting that she's kind,
Yeah.
but she's not happy.
And it's no wonder. It said a lot when she had Matilda over to her little cottage for tea, and there was no furniture. There was no food. What little food and tea she had, she gave to Matilda. And she said, oh, it was okay. She ate a great big lunch every day at the school. It's really
Hmm.
sad. I mean, everything that she just put up, no running water.
Yeah,
It
because
was,
what she's having to do is pay her debt to Miss Trunchbull for raising her.
yeah, for providing her
Miss
food and
Trunchbull is
clothing.
billing her for the time she spent raising her.
Horrible.
It's
Horrible.
diabolical. I think my favorite character in the book is Matilda. She's
Oh, I know.
amazing.
I love her too. She is.
She's
She's so
amazing.
smart.
And
Incredibly
she's smart, but
smart.
she has a very strong sense of justice.
Yes.
And I don't think she sees herself as a child. She's like, I'm a person and this is wrong. So I'm taking matters into my own hands.
Well, and she and Miss Honey would
She's not
talk
worried
like
about going
two
through like
adults.
the proper avenues of adults to get to a certain outcome. She's like, no, I'm not going above their heads. I'm just going to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's very unique and I love her as a character.
I do too. She's great.
You want to talk about the 1998 movie? 98?
Yeah.
96. The 1996 movie.
And so this
Did
is a
you watch
movie
it
based off.
recently?
I did. I did. Did you watch it?
No, but I've seen it several
Okay.
times.
Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman are the Wormwoods. And it's interesting because in the book, they describe Mrs. Wormwood, she's as plump. And of course, Rhea is not plump. So our Mrs. Wormwood, she wasn't plump. So they are the Wormwoods. And we have adorable little Mara Wilson as Matilda. She was just wonderful. And it's the same thing. She started caring for herself at 2. You saw her cooking. She'd cook
Yes.
eggs and soup and at 2. She read through all the magazines and everything in the house at 4. And then of course you see her walking back and forth to the library 10 blocks one way. So here she
Aw.
does start punishing the dad. The peroxide is the first thing on the hair. And then we find out that the dad has stolen car parts because now the FBI is after him. They're watching and they're often sitting in a car in front of the house. And it's none other than Paul Rubens, who is Pee Wee Herman. And he is one of the FBI guys. So it's
I
neat to
didn't
see him.
realize that. I
Yes, Pee
didn't
Wee
realize
Herman
that.
is.
I never recognize that man when he shows up on screen, ever, in anything he's ever in. I do not ever recognize Paul Rubens, ever.
He's
I
in
never realize it's
Batman.
him until after the fact.
Batman Returns. He's in Batman Returns, the second Batman.
He is?
So yeah. Yes, he's the
Is it the
Penguin's
one with?
dad.
Nope, didn't know that. Nope. Again, never would have put that together. It's okay. It's like there's another. Who's the other actor? Every time I'm like, huh, he seems vaguely familiar, and I look him up. I'm like, are you kidding me? What's his name? Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Anything he's in, I
Yes.
see him, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything before. I've seen him in a million things. He's incredible.
Million.
Never recognize him.
Yes.
I'm like face blind to those two actors.
The dad, of course, has stolen car parts. He is cheating people with the cars. And then we see Trunchbull go to his shop to get a car. And so that was kind of
Yeah.
funny.
I didn't
Yes.
remember. I did not remember the Trunchbull getting a car in the book. That didn't happen, did it?
Yeah. Yes.
She
Oh, wait.
did?
I think so. Yes. She bought a car from the dad in the book as
Okay.
well. I
Okay.
think. Okay. Miss Honey. I love her. Embeth Davidtz plays Miss Honey. And I just recently watched Schindler's List again. And of course,
Yep.
she is in that. And
Hmm.
she just has a heartbreaking role in that. But
Hmm.
she's also in Bridget Jones' Diary.
She is? Who
And
is she?
she is the one who thinks she's got a relationship with Colin Firth's character, Mark Darcy.
Okay, it's been way too long since I've seen that. I need to watch that movie again.
So I love her. And she is just the most precious Miss Honey. Just precious. I loved her. I love the cake bit and the little boy that eats that cake. Because at first they
Awesome.
bring out just one slice of cake. Here you go. You eat this, Bruce Bogtrotter or whatever his name is. He eats it. Oh, that was really good. Yum. She said, oh, that was good, huh? Okay, you're going to eat the rest. And the cake is enormous, the size of a barrel. It is huge. And he's like, oh, no,
Yeah.
no, thanks. I
That
don't want
I
to eat it.
hate
You
that
will.
scene so much. That scene makes me feel sick every time I see it. Ugh,
But he did
I
it.
can't.
They're cheering him
Yeah,
on
he
and they're
does it.
rooting him.
It's awesome. It's so great.
And then he has a
But it
great
makes
big
me feel
belch.
sick. I just love that they have Matilda standing up, yelling, "You can do it, Brucey!" I mean, it's so cute.
Yes, cheering him on.
Can we talk about the incredible Pam
Oh,
Ferris who plays the Trunchbull?
oh, yes. Who is also in Harry Potter. She plays
Yep.
the ant that
And the
blows
Prisoner of
up.
Azkaban. Marge is ill. Yeah,
Yes.
she's Aunt Marge.
Yes, it's Marge.
Yes.
I couldn't think of
She's
her name. Aunt Marge.
amazing. Who
Yes,
blows up
she's
like a balloon.
phenomenal.
She's a perfect Miss Trunchbull.
Yes, she was very good. And just horrible. They're all
She's
horrible.
so
Anyone who
evil in
plays
this movie.
Trunchbull is horrible.
Amazing actors and actresses, but
So we find out Trunchbull's afraid of black cats, and I was hoping that something would happen and go with that, and they never did anything with it. I don't even know why it was brought up
yeah, I
in
don't
the
even
film that
remember
she's
that.
afraid of black. Maybe to show that she was afraid of something, that she did have fears, maybe. So what's different in the movie? Matilda and Honey in their talks, Miss Honey says that her dad had given her a doll and it was still at the house. And so Matilda's like, let's go get that doll. And they go into the
Oh, the
house when she's
creepiest doll of
gone.
all time.
I thought it was a creepy doll too, but there you go. But that was crazy. The whole house thing and how they did finally escape and get out of the house when Miss Trunchbull came back because the car she bought from Mr. Wormwood died and she had to push it back.
You know,
But
there's something you haven't mentioned, Mom. You haven't talked about the
what?
Chokey.
It wasn't in the book. So the
That's
Chokey wasn't in the book.
right.
Do you want to talk
They
about it?
didn't, wait, it's not even
Yeah.
mentioned in the book?
No,
My goodness. That's surprising.
not that I remember.
I thought it was like,
Maybe I'm
it's
completely mistaken.
mentioned. The Chokey is mentioned in the book.
Okay, so it's
Because I
just
do remember it
mentioned.
being
Okay.
mentioned. But I don't think it's featured as prominently as in the movie or the musical.
So see, it went right over. I didn't even think about it. Yeah. Nothing, no kid ever went in it. Nothing. Do you want to talk about the Chokey?
Well, I remember it really disturbed me as a kid. It's funny because, see, I
Yes.
have been like I've been watching the 90s movie since I was little, and there are a few things that I know stood out to me when I was very young. And one of them was the fact that they just left newborn baby Matilda freshly home from the hospital in the car when they got to the house. Like the parents drive home from the hospital and they just leave Matilda in the car as a baby. And that really stood out to me as a kid. And also, the Chokey freaked me out.
Yeah. The Chokey is scary.
Ugh. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a box, basically. It's a wooden box. Kind of, I always thought of it as like an outhouse. It reminded me of an outhouse. But it's
Yeah.
this wooden box with a whole bunch of nails and spikes on the inside, like an Iron Maiden. And children are just expected to stand in there with the door closed for however long the Trunchbull deems fit if they're being punished with the Chokey. Jeez.
Hmm. It's awful. Yeah. Horrible. I do remember it in the book now because one kid said that he had to stand in there for hours. And you have to stand. You can't lean or you're going to be jabbed by the glass or the
Impaled.
or the nails. Yeah. That's awful.
I don't know how Roald Dahl came up with it.
I did find it interesting in the movie, Matilda practiced her telekinetic powers. She would practice, go, okay, I think I can do this, and she would practice at home. We didn't see
Yes.
her, yeah, and she practiced in the book. She practiced in the movie. We see her practicing, and I like to see that and how the first time she made something move, whoo, it tired her out, and she had to wait, and then it got easier and easier and easier to where she practiced. I think she had already thought of what she wanted to do with the chalk and the chalkboard because she got one of her dad's cigars in the book, and she practiced with the cigar, getting it,
Right.
picking it up, yeah,
Yeah.
and making it move. Yeah, really neat. I like seeing the
Yeah.
practicing.
And then at the end of the story, once they've run off the Trunchbull and everything, what happens to the Wormwoods?
Well, in the movie, the FBI had been coming after them, and because they found he would put sawdust in the cars and all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's in the book too. But I guess they decide they've got to run away. And lo and behold, somehow Miss Honey and Matilda have an adoption paper. Let her adopt me. Okay. And they signed the paper. Now I don't know where
And
the
Matilda
paper is
is
at.
just like walking around everywhere with random adoption papers, just in case.
Yeah. So she
Oh,
ends up being
I wish it
adopted.
was that easy. Well, maybe I don't.
Yeah. And Miss Trunchbull, what happens to Miss Trunchbull in the movie?
I think she just disappears. She's never
Yeah,
heard from
I
again.
think same in the book, just disappears. Yeah.
Once the will shows up and Miss Honey gets
Yeah.
the
I
house,
have a little
you
bit of
never see the
tidbit.
Trunchbull again.
That's right. That's right. So this is a little bit of tidbit. Mara Wilson, her mom died during the filming of Matilda, her real mom. And the movie is actually dedicated to Susie Wilson, who was her mother. And what I heard was that Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman were just lovely with her. They acted like mom and dad to her and really comforted her and took her under their wing, which is very kind. So I think everyone was
Hmm.
very kind during that time, and because I can't even imagine, Mara going
Yeah.
through that as this little girl on the set.
And still doing it. Still doing the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then shortly after, she quit acting. She had done Mrs.
Yeah. I don't think
Doubtfire. I think she did a couple things, but she quit acting shortly after Matilda and hasn't. I
remake
don't think
of
she's acted since.
the remake of Miracle on 34th. She did that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, she did a lot of things as a child, and I think she probably
Yeah.
would have been on track to be one of the most successful. She was a very successful child actress, but I think she would have gone very, very far if she'd kept with it, and she didn't want to. So, good for her for getting out of the industry before it ruined her
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
because she got out. And okay, so in the movie, am I remembering this wrong? But doesn't Matilda like blow up her parents' TV with her telekinesis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She does.
I
And they're like,
love that.
what happened? Yes. And of course they have no idea she did it. Yes. She
Right.
sure does.
But they're
She
making
gets
her
so
watch it. She doesn't want to watch it. So she
watch
explodes the
TV
TV.
all the time. Yes. And she would tell them, about the men sitting in front of the house. They're the police. And they always thought she
Yes,
was
the
just
FBI.
where are you getting this from? And every time they're the police. She actually
So
helps her
funny.
parents in the end. The police are in the garage. They're going to start snooping. And she is making boxes move with her mind back and forth and back and forth. And so basically, she ends up saving her parents from being caught by the FBI.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Matilda. So I
No.
have to say, the 96 movie was never one of my favorites. I have had so many friends and people of my generation who adore this movie and grew up with it like I did and just love it. It's one of their favorites. They love to revisit it. It was never like that for me. I can't tell you
Me
why.
either.
Honestly, I think it might be solely for the cake scene that made me so sick every
Oh,
time I watched it.
that
But
is funny.
it just wasn't that film. I like it. I think it's a good
Yeah.
adaptation of Roald Dahl's story. I think the acting, the performances are amazing. I think it's cast superbly. Honestly, like it's great. I think it's true to the source material. It's a great
Oh,
adaptation.
yeah.
It just doesn't
Mhm.
hold that place for me like it does for so many others. And I can't really
It
tell you
didn't me
why.
either. Yeah, it didn't me either.
So are we ready to talk about the musical?
Sure.
And
So do you
this
want
is
to
a
talk about
musical and it's been adapted to a Netflix
screen?
movie. So it's another film and it's also a stage musical that was on Broadway. Let me look. Do you know when the musical was on Broadway?
Oh, before the Netflix one.
Yeah. Was that your answer?
Yes, that's my answer.
It opened on Broadway in 2013. So I think about 10 years before the Netflix movie was made. Let's see, the Netflix movie came out in 2022. Yeah, so almost 10 years later. So what I like about like immediately right off the bat with the musical is it is set in England like the book.
Hmm. And the movie was set in America. somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know if we said that. The movie was set in America, and the only British person was the Trunchbull for whatever reason. But she was awesome. Yeah, we don't have Danny DeVito walking around with an English accent.
Well, one of the best things is the way the musical begins, and that stage and the movie, and it starts with the birth of Matilda. She's going to be born, but it is the song. And there's a little bit that happens before she's born, but you are in the hospital, you see this doctor. It is so pro-life. Every child is a miracle. Every baby is a miracle. And all the children are singing, I am a miracle. I love that song.
Yeah, I love that song too. One, it gets stuck in your head. It's very catchy. And it also has just all the like the cliche of every parent looking at their child and going, "My child is a genius. My child is going to be the most successful person ever. There has never been a person better than my child." Just the pride that every parent has, and it's contrasted so starkly with the Wormwoods, who throughout the song, as we're hearing all these parents who are so proud of their children, and these children who are growing up thinking, I'm a miracle, we have the Wormwoods who are like, no, I'm not having a baby, and I don't want to, I'm not interested. But it's happening.
Yeah, had no idea she was pregnant. So Mrs.
So
Wormwood dances, and she's supposed to be going off for a dance competition.
in the stage version, yeah. So one thing that should be noted though is that while all these children, so in the stage version, if you were to see it on Broadway, the way it's directed, all the children who are singing about what miracles they are behaving horribly. They have terribly bad behavior. They're spoiled. They're just acting out. They're wild. And that's the humor behind the song, is that they're saying, my mommy says I'm a miracle, and they're like beating each other up. And there's like there's a character who's dressed as like a party clown, and he is hating his life. He's an adult at a child's birthday party, and he's like, oh yeah, all these kids are just such miracles. They're so great. And he's hating everything. So that's part of the humor. Just depending on how you direct the show or what production you go to, you may or may not see that. And I think it's very funny. We did not take that route with our version when I did it, but I do think it's very funny in the Broadway version.
I love it. My goodness, I'm a miracle. I can remember it, and I wasn't in it.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
it's once you've heard it, it's stuck in your head forever. And so yeah, we have the birth of Matilda. And then the song ends with, you've got this amazing, like the whole ensemble practically is all singing this song. And then it all quiets down because then you're left with just Matilda. 5 years later, or roughly thereabout, 5 to 10 years later, however old she's supposed to be. And she's singing, basically, I can't remember the exact words, but like, my mommy says I'm a lousy little worm.
Yeah.
My daddy says I'm a bore. Things like that.
Yeah.
She says, my mommy says I'm a good reason for population control or something like that. I'm a good example for population control. Oh, it's horrible. And these are the messages she's been receiving since the day she was born because her parents
And
did not want her.
the dad is so disappointed that she's not a boy.
Yeah,
And
he
all
wanted a
the time
son.
she's growing up, he calls her a boy. And she's
Yeah.
always saying, I'm a girl. I'm a
Yep.
girl. I'm a girl. And so I was surprised when I reread the book, watched the movie, that wasn't in there. They accepted that she was
Nope.
a girl. And so I thought that was a great addition to the stage production because it just went a step further that they don't even accept who she is as a human being, you know.
Right. So yeah. And then you get to see her, having life with her family. It's not great, just like in the book and in the 90s movie. She does go to school,
Before school,
and
though, is Phelps.
yeah, Miss Phelps is a much bigger character, I'd say, in the musical.
Totally different. Yes. So talk about Miss
Yes.
Phelps.
Yeah, so she's a librarian, like in the book. She wasn't even in the 90s movie, was she? Or barely.
Yes, she was just at the library. She was an old lady at the
Right.
library, but that's it. But here she's a
Yes.
traveling librarian.
In the movie, not in the stage version.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
So she is a
In the
librarian. She has a library, and she's friends with Matilda. So we don't see her and Matilda meet. They already have an established relationship. And Matilda is very close to Miss Phelps, and Miss Phelps cares very much for Matilda. And we see parts where Miss Phelps is kind of on to the fact that maybe things aren't so great at home, but Matilda's just not opening up. She's not sharing with her what's going on. She always evades questions that Miss Phelps has for her about what her home life might be like. But you can tell Miss Phelps is trying to look out for Matilda's best interest. And Miss Phelps acts as she's a listener, she's an observer into Matilda's inner world. Matilda, in this version, has a really creative inner world where she's a storyteller, and she starts telling Miss Phelps a story that's brimming in her brain, and she says, like, I have to get it out or I feel like it's gonna explode out of me. So Miss Phelps is like, okay, you gotta tell me your story. And so she starts telling this story, and we get parts of it throughout the musical. So as the story progresses and we see her life, going to school, living with her parents, having interactions with the Trunch Bowl, we also are getting her telling this story to Miss Phelps day after day, and she's slowly piecing it together. And it's the story this is nowhere in the book. This is completely original to the musical, and I love it. But
I do
she's
too.
telling the story of this magician, escapologist or escape artist, but an escapologist and an acrobat. And they're a married couple who are part of a circus, or, they have a show, and they are just spectacular. They do tricks together and they're amazing, and people come from all over the world to see them. And as the story progresses, we have this storyline within the story. And Miss Phelps is a little concerned about Matilda because the story gets very dark, because you have this escapologist and acrobat who are married, and they have planned their biggest trick ever. And they have to do all these crazy things that I don't even remember what all it is, but it involves like sharks and jumping through fire hoops and things like that. And at the end, the escapologist has to catch his wife after escaping. So she's leaping over a pool of sharks and jumping through fire, and he has to escape and then finally catch her. And it's all supposed to come down to the last second. But at the time when they're supposed to perform this trick, they announce that they are not going to be doing the trick because the acrobat, the wife, is pregnant. And the whole crowd is just so excited, and they're all applauding, and they're so happy for them. And remember, this is all Matilda's story. Then, was it like the stepsister of the acrobat? I think it's like
I don't
the
remember.
stepsister of the acrobat comes over the loudspeaker and says, no, you have to perform this trick because you signed a contract saying that you would, and a contract is a contract is a contract. And so because they're bound by a contract, they have to perform this trick, despite the fact that the acrobat is pregnant, and this is a very risky trick. They do perform the trick. It's going amazingly well, and the escapologist catches his wife, he catches the acrobat, but she slips and she falls. And she breaks every bone in her body, according to Matilda. She survives just long enough to have their child. And then she dies. And of course, Mrs. Phelps is hearing this story and is like, are you okay? Do I need to call somebody? You could tell me if things are not okay at home, because I'm a little concerned about where your head is at. As Matilda continues her story, we learn that the escapologist is raising this child, their baby daughter, by himself, and he needs help. And so he asks the stepsister, I think it's stepsister, the stepsister of the acrobat to come and help him. And she does. So she comes and stays with the daughter, but what he doesn't know is that she's horribly abusive. And she locks the little girl in the basement, and she's verbally abusive, and she's just horrible. Well, he comes home early one day, and he sees that his daughter has been locked in the basement. Oh my gosh, and this is one of my most favorite parts of the whole show, because it all depends on the delivery that the actress playing Matilda gives. But he smashes the door open, and he's singing this song as part of the story that Matilda is telling, because in the stage version, as Matilda is telling the story, we get to see actors playing out this other storyline, which is more
It's
powerful.
great.
And we see
It
that
is so.
he it is. So he comes in and he finds his daughter, and he apologizes to her, and he says he's here and he's never going to leave her again, and he's so sorry that he wasn't there for her and that he allowed her to be hurt and that he hurt her. And I'm going to just jump in here and just say that in the movie version, they did this amazing thing where, and I don't know how they do it on Broadway, I don't know how they did it in the original production, but they switched out the actress playing the little girl, the escapologist's daughter, and they put Matilda in this part instead. And you have this man who's a very loving father coming in and looking at Matilda herself and apologizing to her and hugging her. The first time I watched it, I was very newly postpartum. I had just had my daughter, and I was bawling my eyes out. You were there when we watched it. I was bawling. It just killed me. I thought that was really powerful because Matilda doesn't have that. She doesn't know what it is to have loving parents. She sees it. She can see kids who have loving parents. She doesn't know what it's like to be loved unconditionally. And I feel like it hits so much harder with this one, with the musical. I think it's really emphasized well.
It is so good.
So, what we come to learn, like the big surprise and spoiler of the whole thing, is that the escapologist and the acrobat were real people, and Matilda did not know this. She thought she was telling a story that she thought up herself, but what she was doing was she was actually.
So it's interesting to me because I don't know if I ever saw her as thinking this up. To me, it was almost like her incredible brain could look into someone and know their history. And so it's coming out because she would always stop. Well, I don't know what happens next. And so I don't know. It was almost like the more time she spent with someone, it came into her mind. She understood and she learned. I don't know. It's kind of like the telekinetic thing, you know, maybe a little telepathy as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the point is that she thinks she's coming up with it, though. That's the point I was making. Is that she doesn't know that this isn't something she's thought up herself. Because she has
Right.
no idea it's connected to someone she knows or that it's a true story.
Okay. Okay. I can see that.
She doesn't
Yeah.
realize that. But what
Right.
I did notice, and I didn't notice this in this. No, I did. I noticed this in the stage version when I was doing it. She comes up with different parts of the stories after every interaction with Miss Honey. Anytime she has an interaction with Miss Honey, she thinks up the next part of the story. The next part of the story
Right.
comes to her, and she's able to tell
Mhm.
Mrs. Phelps because the story is Miss Honey's story, and her father and mother were the escapologist and the acrobat, and her mother died after giving birth to her, and her father unfortunately died soon after, or a few years later, because shortly after he comes home and rescues her from her aunt, he runs out to make things right, to make sure she'll never be hurt again, and unfortunately dies in, I think it's suggested that it was like a car accident or something. All we know is that he never comes back. And the horrible aunt is Miss Trunchbull, just like in the book. So it's devastating. It's so sad.
You cried.
And it's very
I
different.
cried.
That part is very different. Oh, yeah. It was very hard. So I played Miss Honey in the stage version at our
Oh,
community theater. And it was very hard the first few times performing the song that I have where it's revealed who she is and that it's her story. It was very hard not to cry. I choked up a few times. Especially the way our director handled the scene. It was devastating. They had me face the actor who plays the escapologist. He comes back on while I'm singing my song, and there's a little part where our songs overlap. And I thought like maybe he would be, sort of standing upstage behind me or something like that, and it would be clear like, oh, that's, she's his daughter. No, no, no. Our director was ruthless and decided to have us like full on face each other downstage and walk toward each other singing our overlapping parts. And then
I
they
can
had
picture.
him, yeah, they had him put his scarf on me and kiss me on the forehead and then leave. The amount of times I almost cried. I couldn't look at Dan, who was playing the escapologist. I couldn't look him in the eye. I had to look past him because it would kill me every time. Hey, so editing Victoria popping in real quick just to let our listeners know that we are now about to play just a very brief clip from when I did Matilda and I played Miss Honey, uh, acting out the very last scene, the last bit of the scene that Mom and I were just talking about. So if you are on our YouTube page, you can see this very brief clip. But if you're just listening, what you're the very poor audio that you're about to hear is was recorded on a phone. So just be aware that it is not the same quality of audio that you're hearing from the regular podcast. But I just wanted to give a brief little blip in here to let you guys know why suddenly the sound is so different and what it is that viewers are able to see that you are not if you're just listening. So thank you.
This is my house. This is my house. It isn't much, but it is enough. And it's hard to make it before you. is me.
It made me cry. Each time I saw it, it tore me up. Yeah.
It's very powerful. So I love
Yes.
that addition to the musical. When I first watched the movie, when the movie musical came out on Netflix and we're watching it, I'm like, what is this storyline? What is this? What is going on with this escapologist and acrobat? I don't understand. And then it all came together and I was dying. I was just bawling my
Yes.
eyes out.
Yes.
It was so powerful. So traditionally in the Broadway version and the West End production, the Trunchbull is played by a man. It's, oh my gosh, I think Bertie Carvel was the original Trunchbull on Broadway, and he's just genius. It's so perfect. And I thought that was really fitting because of how they do the costuming. It works very well for this type of character. And our production had a woman. We cast a woman. And she's gorgeous and she's so talented and she has this amazing vocal range. She's also one of the kindest, funniest people I've ever known. I auditioned and I thankfully got to read with her in our audition. And when we read together, I knew she was going to be cast as Miss Trunchbull. She was so perfect. And I just hoped that I would get to play Miss Honey with her because she was amazing. And she was cast. Her name's Abby Coppola, and she's just incredible. You don't realize just listening to the music how low the Trunchbull's part is in a lot of her songs.
Yes.
And this
I
this
was
woman had to reach. Yeah, and she
really
did it
it's
perfectly. She sounded amazing. But
it is
it
definitely
is low. It's a
bottom.
very low part.
Yes, it is
Hmm.
very low. Bottom
But
of my
man,
range for
oh my
sure.
gosh, you saw it. You got to see her performance.
Oh, yeah. She's wonderful.
She's
Oh, I
amazing.
just loved it. Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I like that our stage version did, I don't know if Broadway does or not. I can't remember about the movie musical, but the hair dye turns his hair green.
Yes.
And I love that. So the dad gets green hair, and then later when she glues the hat on, that hat stays on the rest of the show. It never comes off. But I love that he had
Yep.
green hair. That contrast was so good. Because
Yes.
peroxide, okay, but
Yeah.
green, that was good.
Yes. The green is great. I love the green. And they did it in the movie version as well, which I liked.
Okay.
The
I
movie
thought that
musical.
movie
He
musical,
had green hair in
yes.
that as well.
I thought they did, and I just remember.
And I do love just the little detail that the mom is a dancer. She's a competitive dancer, ballroom dancer, and she has a dancing partner. He was not in the movie musical, so you don't see this in the movie musical, but in the stage version, oh my gosh, she has this, oh, what is his name? It's not Rudolfo. That's the drowsy chaperone. What is his name? It's something like that.
Let's see. I can look in your program. Keep talking, I'll
Oh
look.
yeah, I have mine back there. Matt played him.
Rudolfo.
Oh, it is Rudolfo?
It is
Okay. So anyway, the mom has a dancing partner who's in this show, and they're always practicing together. And Miss Honey goes to visit Mrs. Wormwood while she's trying to practice her dancing, and her dance partner's there. And both the parents get amazing solo numbers. Mr. Wormwood and Mrs. Wormwood get these fantastic numbers. Mr. Wormwood gets a song that's all about the telly and how much he loves the telly, and it's hilarious. And then Mrs. Wormwood gets this whole song and dance number that showcases her dancing as well. Basically all about how looks are more important than brains.
Yes.
Because one thing that's consistent through every version of this story, from book to movie to musical to movie musical, is Mrs. Wormwood looks at Miss Honey and goes, I mean, look at you. I chose looks and you chose books.
You were pregnant in this with
What?
your little boy. You were
Yes, I
pregnant
was.
with your little boy. Okay, you had
Uh-huh.
said before that you were what did you say? Okay. Anyway, you
I
were
was
pregnant.
postpartum with my daughter when I first saw the movie musical.
Okay. But you were pregnant
And
with
so
your
I was
second child
extra
in this.
emotional.
Miss
I was
Honey had to
pregnant with
hide
my,
her
well, yeah, I was
pregnancy.
pregnant with my third child, with my youngest. Yeah, I was pregnant with my baby boy, my third child. And yeah, And that was actually something I wanted to mention because I was pregnant. Not so much that you could really tell. Like, thankfully, we put me in kind of like baggier dresses, but also like really big sweaters over that. But by the end of the show, I was being held together with safety pins. I couldn't make it to intermission without bursting out of that dress. And I kept having to like pin my dress. Or no, I couldn't make it. I couldn't even make it through. I would make it through the first scene and then I'd have to run off stage and safety pin myself again. It was horrible because I think I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant, and it was, it wasn't my first pregnancy, and so I was growing a lot faster. It was hard to keep my costume the right size.
But you did a good job. You couldn't tell,
I'm
really.
squeaked by.
So tell me about what happens with the Wormwoods at the end of the musical.
So what I love about this story is that the Wormwoods are chased by the mafia, by the Russian mafia, because Mr. Wormwood got like some major contract with them, but because he cheated them, they're on him now. So they are hunting him down. So by the end, after the Trunchbull's been run off and everything, after the whole chalk thing, the Russian mafia hunts down the Wormwoods, and the Wormwoods are trying to make an escape. They're trying to flee to some other country. I can't remember where
Yeah,
they're trying to go,
another country. Yes.
but they are trying to get out of the country. And they're stopped by the library where Matilda and Miss Honey are hanging out with Mrs. Phelps because they want to take her with them. And Matilda is devastated. She doesn't want to leave. She, has finally found people that accept her. And the mafia comes in. They have discovered Mr. Wormwood. There's this whole funny scene with them. They have a song. I mean, it's wild. And Matilda has the opportunity to either just let them quietly take her dad out of the picture or to stand up and say something. And she stands up and defends her parents because, of course, she speaks fluent Russian.
Of course.
So she's able to speak to the Russian mafia.
I thought that
And they're very
little
impressed with
ending is
her. So they leave her parents with a very strong threat, but they let them go. Her parents, like, they still want to book it out of there. They don't want to be anywhere in the vicinity. Her parents, and Rudolfo, I should say, because he's going with them, of course. And her brother Michael, who is in the show. But she doesn't want to go. And so Miss Honey steps forward and says, "Let her stay with me." And her dad finally acknowledges that she's his daughter for the first time in the whole show.
a girl.
But they do agree that because it's what Matilda wants, she can stay with Miss Honey. And Miss Honey, assures them that she'll pay for everything and they don't have to worry about providing for her anymore. And they're amenable to that. So, the music in the show is incredible. Tim Minchin, the more I listened to the music and the lyrics, because he did both, he composed the music and the lyrics, the more I appreciated it. It is
Yeah.
really good. It's really special.
It is.
And he understood the assignment.
And there are so many good songs. I loved every minute of it, and it was so much fun getting to see. Do you think you'd want to play Miss Honey again, or would you want to play another character?
I would play Miss Honey again in a heartbeat. I wouldn't want to play anybody else. And I
I'm
think
too old
it's
for
also
Honey.
because I feel like her character's more enriched in the musical. She's more fleshed out, and
Yes.
there was more to do with her. That I really loved playing her. And oh my gosh, so much, so much. Plus, I'm just a Miss Honey type. Like, you can't see me as Mrs. Wormwood. I can't dance like Lauren can, who played Mrs. Wormwood in our show. And I am not a Trunchbull type. I don't have that in me, I don't think. So I would want to be Miss Honey again.
If I
Who
ever
would you
got the
play?
chance, well, Trunchbull's the only one I could play. So, I don't know. If Emma Thompson can play Trunchbull, you can play Trunchbull.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to. Like, it
Oh,
could be
well, okay.
fun, but I just don't think I'd
She
want
would
to.
be, she would be a lot of fun. So I would like to play her. I'm too old for Miss Honey because that's who I would love to play. But I'll take Trunchbull. That would be a lot of fun. If I had the range. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I
It's
can
deep.
sing that low. It's low. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
it's a
low.
deep part. But man, the kids in the show have to be so talented, and we were so lucky with our cast because our kids were so good. And I think what went viral from the movie musical was the song "Revolting Children" because the choreography in the movie was so
Yeah,
good, and all the kids and their talent and
it's
their
excellent.
harmonies, just amazing, so good. And that song is so much fun,
I love
"Revolting Children."
I can
where
picture
they're
that
standing up
girl with her
to Miss
cast.
Trunchbull.
Yes.
Oh, Hortensia? Yes, I love her.
Hortensia. Hmm.
And I also
So
love
the
like the
movie
song
mu
that the older kids sing to scare the little kids
yeah,
about it's basically the ABCs, but it's their welcome into the school. And if you're paying attention, they're going through the whole
yeah.
alphabet and they do it over and over, but you don't notice if you're not
Love it.
watching the movie, you probably don't notice it. It's the lyrics are so good, so smart. So, my favorite song in the musical that Tim Minchin wrote is Quiet. And it's just a song that Matilda sings. It's shortly after the Trunchbull drinks the water with the newt in it and is
Hmm.
freaking out. Like, she's just abused a little girl. She stretched her ears out. One of my favorite scenes. Well, it's supposed to be a little boy. Sorry, little girl, because we had a little girl in our production. But she is raining hellfire down on the kids. And Matilda sings this song called Quiet because everything freezes and the lyrics are building up. She's singing very rapidly. She is sort of, it's this inner monologue of what's happening inside her as anytime people are angry and she's experiencing wrath from people, especially grown-ups where she feels powerless. She talks about how she finally goes to this place where everything is and the music just stops, everything goes quiet. And she sings about what this place is like in her head where everything is quiet and how it feels. As a therapist, I love this song because it really accurately depicts what certain types of dissociation look like and the way that our brain will try to
Mm.
protect us when we're afraid or when we're experiencing trauma. This song is such an amazing example of what that looks like. And I can listen to that song over and over and over and I don't get tired of it. I just love that song.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have a different perspective at being a therapist, and so it's always good to hear. I can't wait for another podcast we're going to do. Hear your take as a therapist. But so for the movie musical,
A
we
different
know that
episode?
Emma Thompson was trying.
I wonder what we're talking
Yeah, one of our different episodes. Yeah. So
about. Hmm.
dun 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 dun. I had to pull it out. Emma. And she actually personalized it for Laura. So there you go, Emma
Oh,
Thompson,
tell our
my
listeners
autograph.
what you're holding up.
Holding up my autographed photo of Emma Thompson. And I think this was the Shakespearean movie she did. Was it As You Like It with Kenneth Branagh? That's what that
I think
picture
it's Much
looks
Ado
like.
About
It's
Nothing.
fine. But Much Ado About Nothing. Much Ado About Nothing. That's what it is. And I love Miss Honey in the movie musical. Lashana Lynch. I didn't know her from this musical. I knew her from No Time to Kill, which is James Bond. So she was in that with Daniel Craig, and that is his. I'm sorry, No Time to Die, not No Time to Kill. No Time to
No
Die.
Time to
That was his
Kill.
final James. I know, No Time to Kill. Where did that come from? No Time
Daniel
to Die.
Craig's final one.
So
Yeah. And oh, I'm sorry. Wasn't she 007?
she was a 007. And so I don't want to give away the movie because that's not going to be on the stage. So I don't want to give that away or anything. But yes, she is
Spoilers
a
for everything,
007
man.
in that one. And then the only other person I knew in that movie musical was Stephen Graham, and I recognized him. He plays Mr. Wormwood. He's Scrum, a character called Scrum in two of the Pirates of the
Hmm.
Caribbean movies. And so just one of the pirates. And I knew he looked familiar,
Yes.
and that's where I've seen him. But otherwise, I
Hmm.
don't know other people. Is there anything else that's
Yes.
different in the movie musical?
Well, Sindhu V plays Mrs. Phelps. And when I first saw her in the movie, I was so excited because she's a hilarious comedian and I love her comedy, her stand-up comedy.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was really excited to see her in a movie. She's hilarious. But I don't think I knew anybody else.
Yeah, she's a traveling librarian, Mrs.
She's
Phelps
what?
is. And it's neat because
Yes,
a
I thought that was so
traveling
cute. Her little
librarian,
traveling library is so cute.
yes, meet in a wagon, and it's really cool. I liked that a whole lot. I loved her character, just loved it.
Yes. Yes, and she plays it so well. I love that she's
Hmm.
listening to the story so raptly and she's got her popcorn listening to Matilda tell her story.
Yes,
And of course, Emma Thompson
absolutely.
just nailed it as Miss Trunchbull. She was hysterical and scary. I mean, she dedicates herself so much to every role. She's amazing.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
So
She was
so both
Mrs.
of the Trunchbulls have been in the Harry Potter franchise. So you have
Yes.
Aunt Marge, but then you also have Professor Trelawney. I think
Yeah.
one thing that I'm so disappointed with in the movie, I love almost everything about the movie. One thing after doing the stage version, one thing I'm really disappointed in is that Mr. Wormwood and Mrs. Wormwood don't get their songs because their songs are awesome.
You're right. You're right. I think their songs are good too. I love the stage version. I think it's so good. So good.
Because I can rewatch this one over and over, no problem, and I really enjoy it. Our lag is so bad.
It is.
This is one of the, I think, rare times when I think I love the musical version the most. Like, as far
Me
as
too.
the adaptation goes, the stage version is my favorite version of it all. I like it better than the
Mhm.
book. I like it better than the 90s movie. I like it better than the 2022 movie. I love the stage version itself. And I don't think it's just because I was in it. It truly has to do with the script, the music, how they fleshed out the characters more, which is actually really hard to do in musicals. It's really hard to actually add depth to a story. So the fact that they were able to do it with this one, I think, is just so incredible. And
Oh,
it's my favorite
it's an
version of
amazing.
Matilda.
I agree. It's my favorite as well. I love that we got to see um the escapologist. Es I love that we got to see the escapologist and the acrobat and that storyline meshed in with the Matilda's story herself. Oh, it's just so beautifully done on the stage. And you see that in the movie. It's there, the movie
Hmm.
musical, but it's so different seeing it there in front of you on the stage, and it's lovely.
Hmm. Yeah, nothing like live theater. Is there anything else that
I
you
agree.
wanted to discuss with Matilda?
No, this is a if you have never seen Matilda live, oh, try to find it and see it. It's very good, and it's go support your local community theater, or even any Broadway shows that come to town or near you. Go visit. They're just go watch. They're wonderful.
Yes, I agree. Support your local theater, support your local library, and remember to keep watching movies. And we'll see you again next time when we watch books. Bye.
Bye.